Hey, I'm Roland, and we're here at IFA 2018 taking a quick look at the ZTE Axon 9 Pro, which is their new flagship model. So ZTE is back from the dead after Trump's ban. They're now coming back with this flagship device that looks a lot like an iPhone and costs almost as much. Well, almost as much is not really true, but they're like 300 euros cheaper. So this launch is for 650, 649 to be exact, in euros. After the ZTE Axon 7, which was a pretty decent hit back in the days, which launched for $399, that is kind of an expensive device. So they're giving you a lot for the money, but it's also not as well priced as the former or the predecessor used to be. What you get is a 6.21-inch OLED panel with a resolution of 2246 by 1080 pixels. They're calling it FHD+. Much of this plus part goes to this notch, which is pretty massive and looks kind of like the iPhone because it's very wide in this case. They're putting a bunch of stuff up there. This is a 20 megapixel front-facing camera on here, fixed focus. I don't know about the aperture yet. Up next to it is the front-facing speaker, one of the two front-facing speakers, or there's actually one front-facing speaker, the one at the bottom fires to the bottom, but there's definitely stereo speakers on this device. Next to that are the front-facing sensors, so those are distance and brightness sensors, and as you can see, they're kind of getting cut off here on the top. The software is not really fully final. I guess the software part is actually pretty interesting. They're calling this Android or stock Android Plus, which means they're adding a bunch of things, but they're keeping it pretty stock. So there's a few things that they've added, like this app manager that you just saw at the bottom. Plus, there's a bunch of modifications in here in the menus and stuff, and there's also a bunch of other things that have been changed. It's running Android 8.1, as you can see. No word about upgradability to Android Pie, but they're probably working on getting you an update pretty soon. And if they're keeping the modifications low, they're not doing that much. And I hope it's going to be a quick update within the next couple of months. As you can see, we have 6 gigabytes of RAM, and there's 128 gigabytes of storage in here, which can be extended through micro SD because you get 2 SIM card slots plus the micro SD card slot. There's a pretty massive chin at the bottom, which is a bit wider than on many other current top smartphones that are out in the market. And the whole thing is encased in this pretty good looking bluish or dark blue colored glass and metal frame. So you have the metal frame on the sides here. You can see it's all very shiny. They're painting the frame too, so that makes it look really, really shiny, but that also leads to a bunch of fingerprints being attracted very, very quickly. As you can see here on the glass back, there's also a lot of fingerprints on here already. Big Axon logo in the middle. Up over on top of that is the fingerprint reader, plus you get 2 rear-facing cameras that are, the main sensor has an optical image stabilization system. It uses dual face detection autofocus, and it has 12 megapixels. With a pixel size of 1.4 micrometers. Under it is a 20 megapixel camera, which helps you deal with all these fancy photo effects that the AI system or the software actually will let you use on this device. So they have scene detection and all the other stuff. Under it is a dual LED flash, which adapts to the skin colors as usual. And on the bottom you get the ZTE logo, and that's pretty much it. If you look at the bottom of the device, you can see that there's not only the cutouts for the antennas here, but there's also one microphone right there. That's your USB Type-C port that charges the massive 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is a pretty decent size. And right next to that is that bottom firing second speaker that I was talking about. Under the hood, you get the Snapdragon 845 running at 2.8 gigahertz. So that's just as usual as on the other devices. This is the current high-end SoC that's in here. Power button right there, feels pretty well. Got a nice feel to it. Nice travel and a lot of clickiness in there. There's a volume rocker up here, which doesn't feel as nice as the metal power button, or this one seems to be metal. The other one is probably just plastic. Feels pretty good. Those 2 volume buttons are obviously just one massive button right there, and up top you get again the cutouts, and there are 2 microphones up here. Yeah, there's a Dolby speakers in here. The whole thing weighs in at 180 grams in this case. And that is pretty much it, or pretty much all there is to say about this device. But one more thing, it has an IP68 certification, so it should be able to be submerged for up to, I think, 30 minutes in 1 meter's depth, maybe more, but it's definitely waterproof and dustproof too. It has NFC too, and that should be pretty much it by now. So this has been just a very quick look at the ZTE Axon 9 Pro in the variant for Europe, which is the A2019 G Pro here at IFA 2018.